Brother Elric of the Imperial Fists lay dying upon the dark rock of Cadia. His helmet had been split open, his chest plate had been beaten in by multiple rounds, and his armor had failed completely. He couldn't even speak anymore as his vocal cords had been shot out by shrapnel. Looking out in the middle distance, Elric could see the battle moving on past him, heretic scum advancing past the Imperial Fist's lines towards the next Imperial line of defense. Elric could do nothing but wait for his own death. Or so he thought. Looking out, he could see a figure approaching him, the obvious outline of a space marine. As it moved close, he could make out iron-coloured battle plate, one of the hated Iron Warriors, the most hated of the traitor legions for the noble Imperial Fists. No doubt this Iron Warrior was here to mock Elric as he died. Pity that Elric couldn't spit in this Iron Warrior's face before the end. The Iron Warrior walked up, leant his autocannon against a rock a few meters away from Elric, and sat down upon the rock facing the dying Imperial Fist. Elric realized that from his own wounds that this was the warrior who had killed him. Now he was here to watch him die. Typical of the spiteful, hateful Iron Warriors, so petty and pathetic. The Iron Warrior unclasped his helmet, revealing a young face. Could not be any older than a few centuries, but it was a face, while young in age, that was filled with weariness and pain. A face that had seen much, and not like any of what he had seen. The Iron Warrior addressed Elric. "Apologies, cousin, about that," pointing at Elric's wounds. "Despite us being enemies, it is not a good way for you to die. You did slay 3 of my brothers before I trained my gun on you, though, so I guess you can call that a worthy enough death. Worthy. An odd word, that one. What is worthy? What is the standard of worthy? Is it our own worth? Our worth in the eyes of our commanders? Our primarchs? I've often wondered that." Elric didn't want to listen to any of this. He wanted to kill this Iron Warrior, to spit in his face and shout his defiance. But he could do nothing but listen as he died. The Iron Warrior kept speaking on. "You know, cousin, I've always found it sad that our legions were never friends in the beginning. We have so much in common. Not just our tactics and skill in siegecraft, but our ideology and our beliefs as well." The Iron Warrior smiled. "Courage and honor is what Gilliman's sons always shout, but they should talk to those like us about what that really means. Courage is running into the guns of a fortress or standing your ground against a hellish barrage, charging into the most hellish and nightmarish war zones ever devised. And honor is doing these things without hesitation or doubt, obeying suicidal orders without question or hesitation. The Ultramarines are like Fulgrim's whelps, obsessed with looking good, talking good, but never once stooping down in the mud to die and bleed as those like us do." The Iron Warrior chuckled. "I was on Terra. Did you know that?" "Yes, I was indeed. Charged into the most nightmarish battle to ever be fought, pitting myself against the mightiest fortress to ever be constructed. I will admit that. The palace was the greatest fortress I had ever seen. Dorn could build a fortress well. No, my brothers would kill me if they ever heard me uttering those words aloud. Oh, I lost my hand to a white scar during that siege. First time I'd ever seen a warrior of the 5th. Wild bunch of savages they were as they charged down on us with those bikes of theirs. Oh, those were dark days. Dark, dark days. But I have learned a lot since then, my Imperial Fist cousin. Do you know what I have learned?" Elric still didn't care, and wished himself to die faster so he couldn't hear this traitor's prattling. The Iron Warrior kept on talking. "That we are all slaves to our fathers, cousin. Why couldn't our legions be friends? Because our fathers hated each other, so we had to hate each other. Why were we enemies? Because your father stayed loyal and my father threw his lot in with Horus. And why did I follow him? Because he was my father. Is it not our duty to follow our fathers? No. No free will for us. That is the downside of having the strength of will that we do. It allows us to charge against a gun line or a fortress, but it makes us slaves to our fathers, slaves to our duty. It makes us little more than cannon fodder for the dreams of those who claim to be our betters. I know that is how my Primarch felt, like he was only cannon fodder for the Emperor's dream. So, because he felt that way, we were made to feel that way, to be that way. We were his cannon fodder, as perturbable was his father's. In a way, Dorn and you were the same, made to be the Emperor's unfeeling wall, guarding Terra after Ulanor while the Crusade moved on. Everyone else was allowed to gain glory and honour, except you, stuck on the palace walls all those years. No glory for the likes of us, I suppose. No glory for those who know the meaning of sacrifice, who only know how to perform unflinching duty, just dying face down in the mud of the trenches, amid the ruins of walls and cities. The Iron Warrior pointed down to the Imperial Fist. And here the cycle continues. So if I am saying all this, why do I still follow my father? Why do I perpetuate this cycle? It is because of the Emperor, the one who made us as we were, the one who made our fathers as they were. He is to blame, and he needs to fall, to atone for his sins against us, for all of us, for making us this way, for forcing us to be this way. Not just for myself, but for all of us. You and me, cousin. All of us. The Night Lords, the Death Guard, the World Eaters, all made to be monsters by the hands of their fathers, by the dreams of the Emperor. The Blood Angels and their children. Have you ever fought alongside them? Or, better yet, have you ever fought against them? Seen them up close? I have. I doubt that their wrath and thirst for blood and battle were not unknown by the Emperor when he created them. The Dark Angels, Iron Hands, Word Bearers, the Wolves, all of us were made by the Emperor. He knew what he made our fathers to be, what we would become. He could have made our fathers different, made us different, saved us all the rivalry, the hostility, the jealousy, the blood, the death. But he didn't. He knew, and he kept on going. He made us this way, and for that, there is no forgiveness for him. Do you think that if he made us better, if he made our fathers better, that we could have been friends, cousin? The Iron Warrior looked over and saw that the Imperial Fist was dead. He slowly stood up and retrieved his cannon. I guess not.